9.5 IGN.
Wow. We didn't give it a 9.5.
I know.
We should have. Number 5. Electronic Arts has acquired the license for future Star Wars games from Disney. It's a multi-year exclusive agreement for global development and publishing and should be incredibly lucrative for the company. Disney shows...
I like that that's the end result we got there.
Oh, yeah. I mean,
we're going to make a lot of people a lot of money.
Well, we don't really know what the plan is yet. But
it's probably to make mediocre video games.
Perhaps. EA makes good games. They make some bad games and some mediocre games.
We'll see what happens here.
Surely Disney is showing no signs of stopping and completely destroying the Star Wars franchise. Let's just make more movies and video games and cartoons and all sorts of
and ruin.
What do you mean?
Just ruin it.
Ruin. I don't. It's already ruined.
See, this is the thing, though. With Star Wars, there's more bad out there than good.
Oh, by far.
So it's not even. It's a fluke at this point that there were good Star Wars things. That's the way you got to look at it. There was 3 good Star Wars things ever. Some books that don't count that Fat Baby's read.
Well, I read those.
Well,
but I was a skinny baby.
Were you?
Oh yeah.
When did you grow?
I was a late bloomer.
But I mean, there are more bad Star Wars movies. There's more bad Star Wars shows, comic books, all that stuff.
The shows are good, though. I hear, right? I don't care about it. So, Clone Wars is supposed to be excellent if you're a Star Wars fan.
I just can't take any more of it.
You don't watch any. You don't consume any of it. Why do you care?
Because it's just too much.
What is it? It doesn't even affect your life. You don't even know about it.
How do you know it doesn't affect my life?
Because I live with you 20 hours a day. Your life is my life.
That's true.
I think some people like you. They're like, well, I had good memories of Star Wars, and that's all that's allowed.
Exactly. See, that's the
and
real.
It's like you don't want some kid having sex with your old girlfriend.
That'd be fucked up for her because you probably go to prison.
Yeah, that would be. I didn't think that would through. That was
good. No, it's funny. I have 3 nephews that are really, really, really into Star Wars.
Yeah. Are they really into your ex-girlfriend too?
I hope not. They're really, really into it. And they have no context for what it means for their dad or me. Love the original trilogy. They're like, I love Jango Fett and stuff. I'm like, what the f*** are you talking about?
They never wrote a long blog on the internet about Greedo shooting first and how much that matters.
That's the whole thing is that the Star Wars culture got all twisted up, right? That they had these 3 awesome movies and then nothing, then nothing. So everybody was like, oh, we're this cult and we're awesome and blah blah. And then obviously all the nerds took over the world, like us, obviously. And so then you're an adult, and then they put out more stuff, and then all of a sudden it's a business. This is the same thing we talk about with video games, right? Nobody's in it for the art anymore, man. Activision's ruining everything. No one was ever in it for the art. It was always for the money.
Yeah, of course. There's no doubt about that. Remember when we watched the People versus George Lucas? Remember we watched that?
A lot of people view George Lucas as the Antichrist.
George Lucas raped our childhood. George Lucas raped our childhood. George Lucas raped our childhood.
Yeah. And, there's 2 different viewpoints of it or whatever. This is on Netflix, by the way, if you want to watch it. That Star Wars is basically public domain at this point. And that, there is such a thing as taste with it. That you shouldn't fuck with it. And then there are people that are like, George Lucas can do whatever he wants. He invented Star Wars. We wouldn't even have the good movies without him.
Right.
And he can do whatever he wants with the movies. And I fall into the latter camp, that it is obviously about money. He made it. He can fuck with whatever he wants. He can make Jabba the Hutt into, a Rodian, and
can you give him 2 tails? It's all part of my original vision.
Yeah, he can do whatever he wants, but it doesn't mean that it doesn't suck.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? And that's where I kind of draw the line. I really love the original trilogy, and I even love the expanded universe. Timothy Zahn's books especially were awesome. And they just
I read Tales from Jabba's Palace.
Yeah, that's a great book of short stories. Boba Fett's story in that, by the way, is not canon anymore because of what happened in the second prequel with Jango Fett.
Of course.
Yep.
We all knew that.
And that sound was all of our penises crawling back inside of ourselves.
No doubt about it. No woman wants to touch me.
No.
So I'm just saying that, in my personal opinion, they're, destroying Star Wars. If you're still into it, that's totally cool, but prepare for Marvel and Disney to fucking beat this bad boy into the ground. They didn't pay that much money to just put it in a vault somewhere.
Don't you feel like this is kind of like somebody sitting around going I wish Mickey Mouse was still black and white and he was on the boat with his fat friend and they would kiss every now and then, but nothing bad ever happened, and ever since then it's like, hey guys, I'm a fucking billionaire. Took over the whole world. Ooh, every 5 years somebody gets to meet him for the first time. The whole franchise gets rebooted every 10 years.
But what Mickey Mouse franchise are we talking about here? I mean,
just a canonical history
the
of
3
Mickey
circles that form his face that have created the empire that now owns.
I understand
all
what you're
this.
saying. I'm a little too close to this one.
I know.
That's the problem.
I know.
It's like this Iron Man thing last night. I don't care about Iron Man. I went and watched the movie.
What
I
happened?
thought the movie was great.
Sure.
And then I tweeted the movie was great, and all these Marvel fanboys came out of the woodwork to tell me how wrong I was, and they did all this wrong.
But
and
people
this,
were
that, and the
making
other.
a good point about that on Twitter today. That a lot of us who enjoyed the third Batman movie,
Yeah.
which was the best Batman movie,
The best of what?
of all of them, any of the Batman movies ever made.
If you ranked the third worst Batman movies, that it's the best of the third worst. Like
No,
it's
I-
up there with the Schulmachers. Rises?
Sure, yeah, I think Rises is better than any of the Kilmer or whatever ones were going on in the 90s.
It's falling into that bucket of bad. Is
No,
what I'm
no,
saying.
He likes it as the best Nolan Batman.
No.
I think the first one, the first Nolan Batman is I think the middle one's the worst one. I like the
Really?
I like the first one and the third one's better. Yeah, I think Scarecrow is the best thing that ever happened to that series, by the way.
So, all right, let me ask you guys this then, because this goes to what happened to you last night. Would these people rather that they just never made an Iron Man movie? Would you rather they never made another Star Wars movie rather than just like it into the ground?
Yeah, I would.
Really?
Yeah. Because
So it's just never again.
no,
Everyone forever has to go dig up your shitty old Laserdisc version that hasn't been touched yet.
I wish I had a Laserdisc
It doesn't have the dancing scene from Return of the Jedi screwed up. They had the Ewok song still at the end.
Right.
Hayden Christensen's ghost isn't
Yeah,
there.
oh, that's the
Get
worst.
the OG thing, right? You got to go
Yeah.
out to a yard sale.
well, that's what's hot, though, right?
What are you
see, this is the thing. I didn't take it personally. See, when we first saw episode 1 in '99, right? Everyone walked out of the theater. A lot of people refused to accept this, but everyone walked out of the theater and was like, "That was fucking awesome."
No, you know what? And no one believes me. Everyone says I'm a revisionist historian on this one. But I walked out going, that was trash. And I walked in going, this is going to be trash. Because
Really?
I knew.
Oh, I didn't
I knew,
know.
I knew
Oh, I
once I
didn't
saw
know.
the Happy Meal toys and the characters and the action figures and the stills and the trailers, I was like, no, this ain't right.
Well,
Not right.
I can't say that I had.
I don't
want
want to see that man as a boy.
I can't say I had that kind of sports eye. First of all, Darth Maul had me like enamored in that movie, and
He was in it for 3 seconds.
I liked him. They should have never killed him. That's a whole other story for another time. But I didn't take it personally until the second movie. When I saw the second movie, and I'm like, so they're gonna fuck with Boba Fett now. Now they're gonna fuck with Boba Fett.
The Fat Man.
And what they're gonna do is they're gonna make Boba Fett a clone. Because
No, they make him a shitty kid first.
Well, yeah, but he's
and he's like, man, Dad, be my friend. Let's play
But he's
catch.
derived. So Jango Fett is the source of the clone army, right?
Uh-huh.
Right.
Which makes all the stormtroopers clones. So that's first of all that ruins an entire story where like these guys have to go and get like sign up and they want to fight. So like that was like the whole story. Like when you saw
They're like the
Storm-
foot soldiers in the Turtles cartoon. They're
Right,
just
right.
robots. Doesn't matter.
Yeah, exactly. But like you always like think about the TMNT live action movie where like those dudes were in warehouses, like they all like had.
You know why they did that? Because you can't cut a human being in half.
That's true. Of course not. But I'm saying, let me hear me out.
All
Hear me
right.
out. Okay. So there's like like you think about like these guys, like obviously the clone army, the clone army, they're clones, but then they with Jango Fett being the source of this, and Jango Fett's son is Boba Fett, who is just a clone of him.
Yeah.
So when you get to like the new movies, it's like this dude is just a clone, and he's the same thing as the f***ing clone army.
Yep.
So he's not like his own person.
That's not
And I'm
important.
like,
Well,
that-
didn't he not
that-
have the training of the
No,
stormtroopers
he
or
didn't.
the
He
mental
was,
whatever?
He was brought up as like
Yeah,
an
yeah, yeah.
individual, but he is the same. Like,
Sure.
And that, like when you go watch Empire or Jedi, it's like he's just not as cool now. Now he's not like this dude, this Mandalore who has like this awesome armor and this backstory and all that shit. Now he's just a clone. So not only did those movies come and like make their own thing, which is fine, but they with what was already there, and that is what bothers me.
Well,
about
to
it.
me, I got that with the books, though. Before they even made the movies, they're like, "Hey, here's the Rancor." I'm like, "All right, cool. Here's the fat naked guy that cries when he dies." All right, that's fine. That's weird for you to do that, but let's continue. Then the book is like, "Oh, he found him when he was a boy. He saved him from a circus, and then the Rancor ate his shirt. That's why he's always naked, or whatever." I made that part up. But then he grows up, and they're best friends, and then he dies. He dies right in front of him, and it's horrible. I'm like, I didn't need to know any of that, right? And I'm walking to work the other day, and I'm talking with Anthony Gallegos, who's the biggest Star Wars fan I know. And I'm like, why did Yoda even hide out on Dagobah? Because, like, because of all that swamp water, they can't find him with the Jedi powers? And he's like, no, he went there, and in that house, he killed the world's most powerful Jedi. And that created this aura that no one could ever find him. So I was like, oh, so Yoda lived on a crime scene forever. Like now I can't watch those movies that me and like Yoda's sitting there, there's a dead guy underneath his house, he's eating garbage out of the lake, he's eating fish parts and frogs. Luke shows up and he's like, "Ugh," and then he dies. What's a horrible story? I don't need to know
That was
any of
the
that.
problem with the end of 3 when Yoda goes to exile. I must go. It's like you almost had him.
Yeah.
You had the Emperor
had
on the
everything.
ropes. Like just go back and fight him again.
And he's
You
like, I'm
quitter?
going back to the trash house.
Oh, and that was the other thing when they gave Yoda the lightsaber.
Oh my god.
I was like, no, like I always envisioned. First of all, there was two things. We don't really know what his race is. We saw Yaddle. We saw another one. But like, I always envisioned either he's like so old because of the Force that he's just like a decrepit, maybe human or another race, or that he's so powerful that he doesn't need lightsabers. And like, I thought it would have been a cool way for them to be like, this is how he fights. He doesn't use anything. Like he like uses a different sort of Force because he's so powerful. Instead, they give him a little lightsaber, have him jumping around. The prequels are terrible.
Yeah.
Terrible.
Yep.
All right, let's just leave it there, Greg.
Okay.
Roper Report number 6.
Users lose all sense of reality and enter another world. Remember, do not underestimate the power of PlayStation.